William Li is chief economist at the Milken Institute, an economic think tank, and he joins me from Washington. Bill, your takeaway from what we heard from President Xi on Shenzhen and its future?
Shenzhen is unquestionably one of the great success stories of China. In the last 40 years, I'd be hard-pressed to point to anywhere in China that has been more successful than Shenzhen in leading China into the 21st century technological age. So without a doubt, it's a great success story. But it was built on the foundations of Chinese characteristics that marked it for success. When Deng Xiaoping said to everyone, cross the river by carefully touching the stones. In other words, be flexible to change and experiment. And certainly Shenzhen learned to experiment by taking up the techniques of its neighbor, Hong Kong. Because Hong Kong was a very successful entrepot, a transshipment point. And the techniques that made Hong Kong successful were thousands and millions of people experimenting with different techniques, and they led to a tsunami of success that we see in Hong Kong, and the same technique led to the tsunami of success that we've seen in the last 40 years in Shenzhen.
So what does this ambitious goal for Shenzhen mean for Hong Kong?
Well, Hong Kong has become a remarkable financial center and transshipment logistics center. Shenzhen is a technological center, so they certainly have huge complementarities. And I think the future integration of the area would just complement and amplify the benefits of having everything integrated together. Although there is some warning that I would like to leave with our viewers, which is to say, the thing that made Shenzhen successful was China's experimentation. What I hear in President Xi's speech was that they wanted to strengthen top-down design. These reforms were to deepen reforms and to have people pay more attention to the system. I hope that this will include allowing people to experiment and to fail, because the failure is where people learn how to do things better, and that's what made Shenzhen successful. And many countries that have tried to direct development from the top have failed. We look at Japan, we can look at Singapore, we can look at a host of countries where top-down direction actually ruined and destroy the goose that laid the golden egg.
How significant is it that President Xi said Shenzhen would be given a greater autonomy bill to help China weather the global economic downturn without seeking the approval of the central government?
That is the best piece of news I've heard yet, because that allows autonomy and for people to make independent decisions and to be flexible. I think that's really the mandate where again, Premier Deng Xiaoping, that was his mandate, to experiment, be flexible, and change rapidly and adapt to situations as they develop without having to go to central authorities for permission. That's really the mandate that really is the success story.
All right, it sounds great, but what are the challenges ahead for turning Shenzhen into a huge global hub for finance, trade, technology, innovation? I mean, surely it's not going to be simple.
So that's a great question, because one of the things that we have to watch out for now is the success of Shenzhen may be the foundation of its own failure. When people become so successful and they become big behemoths, the standards they set, they feel have to be used by everyone around the world. And that's where we run into problems. What Shenzhen has to recognize is that technological change has occurred throughout the world. China cannot develop its own standards and impose them on everyone else. The standards are adopted through the free market. When people see the best there is, they adopt the best there is. So I think the competitive pressures will have to be allowed to work in China and allow China to integrate itself into the rest of the world by flexibly integrating its own technologies, its own standards into those of the rest of the world.
Bill, important point there. Thank you so much.